We're out here with Martha.
We are. So this week we are working on what we call enough. So teaching puppies how to play, learning how our puppies like to play. I'll put another video up. But essentially play usually mimics predation. So aspects of play include chasing, hunting, stalking, even consumption. So if you have a puppy that likes to take something and go lay down and just gnaw on it and chew on it, and all of that. So what a love bug. So obviously Martha is just the sweetest thing on earth. There we go, now she's starting to mouth. So at this age we're dealing with teething, nipping, and as puppies teeth, there are hormones in play and things that can actually cause aggression to kind of spike. And that's totally normal. So one of the things we like to do is start to teach our puppies, give our puppies appropriate outlets for that gnarly puppy energy, but put it within boundaries so that we have what we call windows of opportunity that are really clear and fair to our dogs. So we can open these windows of opportunities and incite play, and not just play. So sometimes we get stuck in this kind of thinking of where playing with your dog only consists of throwing a ball and they fetch it, because some dogs don't like to play that way. Obviously, as we start to discover Martha and get to know her, she likes to carry things around in her mouth. Go figure, she's a retriever. So that is really important to know, because that can affect how you, what kind of games you play with her. And that's really important because we want to biologically fulfill her as an individual. And a puppy that's biologically fulfilled is a puppy that gets into less trouble and is a well-rounded dog later on. So I'm going to initiate some kind of like play. I'd like to see if I can get some kind of vigorous play thing going. So I'm gonna try a little gingerbread lady. Oh, good job. Oh, that's it. She just wants to go see Alex. Another thing, so I'm gonna bring out an arsenal of things. I see that she likes to carry this around, so she may enjoy me trying to run after her and trying to get that. So if you have a dog that likes to run off and grab up a sock off the floor and then you try to get it and then it becomes the you can't catch me, I'm the gingerbread man game, that's kind of important to know, because you can put that in windows. So I'm gonna go grab her because she's chewing on that leash. So she might have our arsenal of toys kind of to figure out what makes Martha tick. This is a tried and true one right here. This is called a flirt pole. So once I kind of get her engaged, which she is, we can start to work on closing the window of opportunity. So I want to wait till she's in a nice, vigorous game. Oh, what you got here? Arr. Arr. Do you like tug? Ooh, she might like tug. So the only time I discourage playing tug is never, because you can always teach your dog to do it appropriately. So if your dog is inclined to want to play that type of game, then I think it's very good to give them healthy outlets to express that. So tug is a really awesome game. Ah, yes, you do like tug. Good girl. The only thing I would say is that if she were going to be doing field dog training, as she's a retriever, you would want to make sure that you taught her how to have a soft mouth for retrieving duck or bird or game or whatever. And that's a separate training exercise than tug. I don't think tug necessarily ruins that type of training. You just want to be aware of that. Anyway, so she looks like she likes tug. So what I'm gonna do, we may actually have to teach her how to drop, because she actually has a really solid grip. So that actually might be what we work on as well. So I'm going, now that she's kind of into this game, I'm gonna go ahead and reel up her leash. I'm gonna have her leash at the ready. And I don't know if you can see. Let me see if I can bring her over here. Yeah, she definitely wants to hold on and consume the toy. Wow, good job. Oh, good job. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and pick a word that means we're gonna be done playing this game. So I'm gonna pick, and this is gonna be different than what you'll eventually ask her to drop the toy with. So eventually the word drop it or out or whatever word you want to have her drop the toy is gonna be different than this word, which actually ends the game. So I'm gonna use the word enough, and I don't know if you can see, let me see. Bloop. So she's got that toy in her mouth and the leash. Bloop. There we go. So every time she grabs onto that toy, I'm just gonna use a slight upward pressure. Good. And I'm gonna release it as soon as she lets go of the toy. If she bites the leash, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna put pressure on and let go as soon as, so instead of making the leash a tug game, her little teeth are kind of caught on the rope. I'm gonna use a little pressure on her collar until she lets go. And I like to remind people to have patience at this juncture. Enough. Every time she grabs the toy, I'm just gonna use a slight upward pressure. Enough. Because puppies are scientists at this age. Enough. They want to keep trying things over and over and over again. Enough. Good. Enough. Good. Good. So anyway, as long as you're consistent about what happens when they do things, they'll eventually give up. Now that she's given up, I want to say, Martha, when you're done scratching. Ready? Okay. So ready could be my open window. So now we can go back to playing. So I used her name, which she'll get a little bit better at responding to eventually. And then I used the window of opportunity word that I want for now you can engage in this type of play. So I said, Martha, ready? And then I said, okay. And now we can play. Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Eventually we can work on having her have a nice drop it cue. I wouldn't worry about it right now. Oh, you're so strong. Oh, you fell over. Ooh. Ooh. If you're worried about resource guarding at this age, just make sure you're not being a weirdo when you go to grab her toy. Make sure that sometimes she wins, sometimes I win, but as long as I can kind of get my hands in there. As far as resource guarding goes, I'll never stick my hand in a dog's food bowl. I feel like that's a bit, I think as long as you don't give a dog a reason to want to guard their food and you kind of just practice, you know, picking it up and feeding them by hand, it doesn't really become an issue. I do see resource guarding happen with food a lot in retrievers, so it's just something to be aware of. Nice. So now that we have a nice vigorous game going, I'm going to go ahead and close the window, but when I'm ready to do that, I'm going to fish out this leash. And I'm going to wait a second just because I don't want her to associate me grabbing this leash with the end of fun. Whoa. Oh, so strong. Give me that. Good job. Martha, enough. So I'm going to put a little bit of pressure. Good. Good. Where are you going? Where are you going? Do you see Alex over there? Martha, yay, good job. Good job. So when we have the closed window, so when we say enough, you're gonna need to be consistent about what you correct her for. So for me, that means no teeth on things. So if you're grabbing this toy or grabbing me, I'm going to say and use that pressure. Everything else is kosher. Martha, you have to poop. What are you doing? What are you doing? Good. Martha, ready? Which means nothing to her right now. But eventually when we say Martha, ready, and we pair it with initiating into play, she's gonna start lighting up when she hears ready. Good job. So we're gonna keep working on that. Hopefully that kind of makes sense. But windows of opportunity essentially just give us boundaries for this nice, you know, game that we want to play. And it gives us the control of being able to say, okay, and now we're done, which is helpful for puppies. Helpful for puppies. Good job, Martha.